Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Yo estoy bien, muy bien, hola. Hoy es martes y muchas gracias por venir a la lección de hoy. Estamos hablando de los números, Ok, bueno, vamos a empezar. Ok, vamos a aprender los números 0 a 30, ¿no? 0 a 30, ¿ok? So 0 to 30. ¿Ok? Vamos a empezar con el PowerPoint. Okidok. Muy bien. Aquí tenemos los números, and so make sure you're following along. You can pause the video now to go ahead and write down the numbers. But let's go through them. So aquí tenemos 0 to 30. So let's follow along with me in español, ¿ok? Voy a repetir todos los números y ustedes también, you all, need to follow along. Ok, empezamos. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, here we have a little bit of a change here from 15 to 16. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 y 30. Okay, muy bien. So let's take a look at some of the things here that can help us remember some of these words and also some of the peculiarities that we're going to run into, especially with our accent marks and that switch from 15 to 16. Okay, so a lot of these are cognates. And if you look at the number 1 from the nouns and articles lesson, it's essentially like you're saying a or an, right? You're just one. If you have a cup of coffee, it's 1 cup of coffee, okay? And that's why we have to gender nouns that are using 1, 21, 31, 41, so on and so on. Okay, because essentially you're just saying an or a, right? A cup of coffee is still 1. Una taza de café. You're still saying 1, but it's gendered. Okay, muy bien. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And a lot of these look like words that we've seen before in English, right? You know, if you think about your tricep, or it's kind of 3 almost even looks like 3 in English. If you look at number 4, it's like a quarter almost, cuatro, right? Which is a fourth. Actually, the word for fourth in Spanish is cuarto, right? A fourth. So it's similar to our fourth. Cinco, somebody has quintuplets. It's not a Q in Spanish, but it's similar. Seis, right? Someone has sextuplets. They have 6 of a kind. Ooh, just imagine sextuplets. Bien. We have siete, okay? Siete, muy bien. Ocho, think about an octagon, right? Nueve, 10, okay? Now, another thing that's kind of interesting here is the 11 through 15. A lot of these are very similar to the single digit numbers, right? You can see 3, 13, 2, 12, 1, 11, 4, 14, 5, 15. There we get the quin right there from the quintuplets, right? So a lot of these are similar to the single digit numbers that you will see. Okay, muy bien. Now, we go from 15 to 16, and it looks quite different, right? We're not saying seis, right? We're saying 10 y seis, 16, okay? It's quicker, but if you look at that, it's almost like you're saying 10 10 y 6. 10 and 6. Okay, it's like 10 plus 6. That's how they're kind of forming this number. 16, 17. Same thing there, right? 18, 10 and 8. 19, 10 and 9. 20. Okay, now with our 20s, we're kind of doing the similar thing to our numbers 16 through 19. 21, 21, 20 and 1. 22, 20 and 2. 23, 20 and 3. But if you guys notice that on the numbers 16, 22, 23, and 26, there's an accent. And that's because the word following the 20 or the 10 and is one syllable, okay? And that's because our stress wants to be on that last syllable right there. 22, 23, 22, 23, 26, right? But if you look at the other numbers, they have more than one syllable after that 20, right? So 24, 27, 25, right? But the other one's 22, 23, 26, 16. Those require an accent because the pronunciation will be on that last syllable there. Okay, muy bien. So we keep going here. 24, 20 and 4, 25, 20 and 5, 26, 20 and 6, 27, 20 and 7, 28, 20 and 8, y 29, 20 and 9. In Spanish, if you want to add, you can also sometimes say just 5 y 6 es 11, right? Or 5 más 6, 11, right? So it's just a way to say 20 and the number. Okay, very good. All right, now, so the number uno and numbers ending in uno, such as 21, have more than one form, and that's because masculine nouns will make it shortened to 21. And before feminine nouns, it will be shortened to 20 or changed to 21. Okay, so por ejemplo, tenemos aquí un hombre, 21 hombres. Okay, also, if you can notice that we're not saying one, we're saying one man, a man, but we're not using uno hombre, right? We're saying un hombre, a man. 21 hombres. Una mujer. We're not saying uno mujer, right? We're having to gender that, using it essentially as an indefinite article. A woman, right? Una mujer. Then we have 21 mujeres. 21 mujeres. Muy bien. So you have to know if the noun is feminine or masculine to be able to change, to modify for 21, 31, en uno. Muy bien. Okay, so the forms uno and 21 are used when counting, but they're also used when the number follows a noun. So even if the noun is feminine or masculine, you're still going to use if it's following. So if you're like trying to say lesson 1, right? La lección uno, okay? But if you're saying one lesson, it would be una lección, right? Because you would be saying a lesson, not the lesson 1, okay? Muy bien. All right, now, if we're going to ask people how many people or things there are, okay, we're going to use the word cuantos before masculine nouns and cuantas before feminine nouns, okay? Because essentially this is functioning as an adjective, right? You're saying how many are there. ¿Cuántos hombres hay en la clase? ¿Cuántas mujeres hay en la clase? Okay, muy bien. Now, if you look at this word cuantos, okay, almost looks like, what would you think it looks like? Cuantos. If you're thinking about how much of something, almost looks like quantity, right? What is the quantity? Cuantos, how many? Essentially what quantity means, right? Cuantos, cuantas. So it almost looks like quantity. Now, guys, I really want to encourage you when you're going through Spanish and this course, and when you go on to keep learning Spanish, you really have to train your brain to search for those cognates, right? I used to make stretches all the time. Like, how can I make this look like a word in English? I guarantee you, you know a lot more words in Spanish than you really realize. Because there are so many cognates. We do share quite a variety of lexicon in from English and Spanish, because English came from a Latin background, but also came from a Germanic background. So that's why English is so difficult. It's a mix of different languages from the past, right? Whereas German is a Germanic language. Spanish is a Romance language, and that's not meaning the language of love, right? That just means romance, coming from Rome, right? It's a Roman language, not romance as in terms of love, but it is a Latin language, Latin-based language. Okay, very good. Now, the Spanish equivalent of there is or there are, okay, is I, right? It's not hey, not hey. Remember that H is silent. I. And so we would use I to ask, is there or are there, okay? And if we were wanting to say there is not or there are not, we would say no hay, no hay, okay? So if you want to ask a question, we're going back here, we would say, ¿cuántos estudiantes hay en la clase? Tenemos 20 estudiantes en esta clase, ¿no? Tenemos 20 estudiantes en esta clase. Mi otra clase, ¿cuántos estudiantes hay en esta clase? Tenemos 16 estudiantes en la clase, okay? So you can say how many students are there, but we can also just ask, are there students in the photograph? Or are there boys in the photograph? Are there chicos? ¿Hay chicos en la fotografía? No. No hay chicos. Hay 3 chicas. There are 3 girls, but there are not guys, right? Hay 3 chicas y no hay chicos, okay? ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay? Hay 6 estudiantes en la foto. In meaning in the picture, right? Muy bien. So we're going to work with a little bit with this in our activity, as well as on the bottom of the notes page here. You're going to ask, how many pencils are there? How many women are there? Okay, and so on. Bien. Okay, so make sure you do the activity following. Practice these numbers. I'm sure you already know probably 1 to 10. Most people do from elementary school, whatever it may be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But make sure you remember these, and also the peculiarities we have. Don't forget about the 16, 22, 26, 23, right? Our accent words, but also that switch from 15 to 16. Ok, muchas gracias. Espero que estén bien y nos vemos pronto. Adiós.